Then I'm going to stream it live. So we're recording, and now we're going to go live onto Facebook.
Lovely.
Newsfeed, yep. Super. Okay, so it is called From a Medium's Perspective. Okay, and then if we go on to here, make sure I make it public. Perfect. Super. Okay. So we are just about to go live now. And yes, we are live on Facebook. Hello, hello, everybody. We're just going to wait for a couple of moments for everyone to sort of really just start to come on and understand that it's on this page for the interview with lovely Karen Wood and Neil Payne. And we are going to be talking from a medium's perspective this evening. What a wonderful, wonderful mediums we have here to discuss all about their journey and the way they work even as a medium, and how they make that beautiful spiritual communication, and to really understand really the mechanics of how this all works. So I'd like to welcome and say a massive hello to Karen Wood and to Neil Payne. Thank you guys for joining this evening.
Hello, Kerry. It's lovely to be here.
Hi, Kerry.
Fantastic, fantastic. Are you both excited as what I am, or am I just like
yes,
a kid?
I feel we're all like kids.
Excellent, excellent. I love it. So at the moment, we've got a few people now coming on. We have Amanda, Richard, Natasha, Roz, Anne, Julie, and Chris, Rachel, even my daughter, bless her, my daughter's on. Hi, Lou. Excellent.
That's nice.
I know, it's so nice. So I've been so excited to talk about this, and it's talking about what we are all passionate about, isn't it? You know, and we are all passionate about our work with spirit and how we all work as well. We've got loads of people now coming on. This is amazing. Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming on this evening to watch this. So I'm going to ask Karen and start with Karen, if that's okay with you, Karen.
Yes.
So Karen, could you just explain a little bit about yourself, your background, and what it is you actually do?
Well, I've been a spiritualist and a medium for many years. I first went into a spiritualist church probably about 30 years ago, which is a long, long time. And I was taken in by my friend, my best friend, and her mum. And my friend Deb and Eve, they took me to the spiritualist church, and I found it fascinating because it was completely different to anything I'd ever known before. And it was interesting because, you know, there was these people on the platform called mediums who I'd never heard of before, you know, talking to people that were no longer here, that were technically dead, according to most of us. And I was interested, I was intrigued. I came into it because I've got a very inquiring mind, and I wanted to find out more about spiritualism and how mediumship worked. And my Eve is a medium and still works now. And she decided to set up a circle. Now, circle is where people that want to develop their awareness and connecting to spirit and finding out more about things. And she set up this circle and she asked me to join. And I said, well, why are you asking me? So she said, I just feel that I want you to come along and join. She said, we're going to do some meditation. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see if spirit wants to talk to us. So I became part of that circle and I loved it. I absolutely loved it because it awakened the spirit within me, that divine spark that we have in all of us. And then I started becoming aware of spirit. And also it made me think about back to when I was a child, when I was actually, I used to see things as a child, but I never realized what I was seeing or what was going on. And my grandmother was a great believer in it, and because my grandfather had near-death experiences, and my grandmother actually saw spirit. So I didn't know really all this. It was just what my mum had told me. And then from then on, I started to get more involved at West Wickham Spiritualist Church, and that's the church that I went to. And I got involved with healing, and then I got involved with other tutors at the church. Enid Meager was a very big influence at the church for me. And then, of course, she took me to Stansted. She took me to the Arthur Findlay College. And there I met Janet Parker, who's been a big influence tutor in my life, Paul Jacobs, Simon James, Brian Robertson, Libby Clark, all those people. For many years, I was. People say that Stansted, you can't, once you've been once, you can't stop going. And it is true. It's such a wonderful place to go and to train. And I used to go probably about twice a year back in the day. And then I started demonstrating myself. Went out there as a medium myself. And it's just been a very wonderful, very different journey. And the only thing it is interesting, Kerry, is when it can be what I call a dinner party stopper. When you're in a group of people and they say, so what do you do, Karen? And they say, and you say, well, actually, I'm a medium. And they go, oh, and then they want to know everything. So it's an interesting topic, and it can sometimes cause some interesting conversations with people that don't understand. But there are a lot of people out there that are interested in, mediumship and how it works. But mediumship is just one part of spiritualism. And I have to say that I am a spiritualist. It is my religion. And that's the thing that I suppose I went and found first before my mediumship journey started. And for me, going to the church, being within the church each week used to sort of like be a very big focus for me. And it used to help me through ups and downs. And I've enjoyed my journey. I really have. It's been a wonderful journey so far, and I'm enjoying it. I hope to enjoy more adventures as well within my work.
Excellent. I love that. And you know what, it's very similar, because when you said about your grandmother, as well, my grandmother was a spiritualist as well, and she would take me to some spiritual churches, and she would always talk to me at such a young age as well about the spirit world. So it seems to sort of be quite a pattern, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, as well. So that's amazing though. Thank you, Karen. So Neil, let's go over to you, Neil. Neil, can you sort of how did you get involved in all this as well? What was your story?
Well, again, it's my grandmother, but she wasn't a spiritualist. She was a Catholic. Okay. So I was close to her. She was like my surrogate mother, really. I spent my weekends with her, staying with her, especially when she was on her own. And when we lost her, I was only 18. That was my turning point. And 4 days after she had died, I actually saw her. She appeared herself to me physically, as I'm seeing you and Karen in the room. That's what my nan did to me.
Wow.
So it was through that really that took me into, well, my mum was going to the spiritualist church after she lost her mum, and I was hearing all these conversations mum was having with her sisters and talking about her messages she was getting, and I was like, really? So I got a bit concerned. So I decided to go to church with my mum because I thought she was going a bit nutty, like you do. And then I go to the church. I sat at the back of the church on my own with no one else. Mum sat at the front with her friends. I went on and sat on my own. And then all of a sudden, the medium comes to me and then starts telling me about this vision I've been seeing in my room. And we already discussed this, me and my mum, and she thought maybe I was dreaming it. I went, well, maybe I was, but I was very aware that I was awake. And from word to word, that's what the medium had told me. And it was a medium that was actually connected to Croydon Church, who was the president of the church many years ago. And it was him that gave me my first message. Then I was going to the church, and then I met obviously all the right people at the right time. And for me, it was Glenn Edwards for me that took me under his wing as a student and got me sort of working on the teaching aspect of things, really. And then took me to Stansted. And then through that, on the week's course, I ended up working at Stansted at the Arthur Findlay College. Ended up working as in the bar, in the dining room. And that's how I got my connections with a lot of the students. People like Anne-Marie Bond, Karen Woods as well. And I met Karen actually at West Wickham. That was one of my journeys as well.
Oh, is that what you met?
Yeah, because I used to serve Karen's church when she was the vice president there. She used to do a lot of chairing when I used to come.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's how it all started for me.
Yeah, I was vice president, and I got involved in the committee side as well. So I know it's not easy running a church. So I've done the administration side as well as actually standing on the platform and being a medium. I used to chair for Neil all the time when he used to come.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and then obviously me and Karen met back up during this first lockdown back last year in March at Bog of the Church. She was doing Bog of the Church. I was co-hosting the room for the church, and that's how I met Karen.
Again.
Again.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh, wow.
What used to be funny, Kerry, we used to have at the church, we either had a pianist or we had an organist. And when Neil used to come with Karen Lyne-Jones, and you used to bring a couple of others with you as well, didn't you, Neil?
Yeah.
They would say, oh, we won't come this week because Neil brings his own music. And he'd bring the CDs, his Spirit of Youth CDs. So we would get all the youngsters, and I was sort of like fairly young in those days then, we'd get all excited because we were going to have sort of modern music in the church, and they'd put the CDs on, and we'd be all at the back of the church sort of like going, swaying to Spirit in the Sky and Lean on Me and all things like that. And it used to be a very different vibe when Neil and the gang used to come with Spirit of Youth. It used to be brilliant.
It was a bit like Sister Act, wasn't it?
It was.
The movie Sister Act.
It was.
That clappy, happy music, calling people.
It was. I mean, I still love them. I still love the traditional hymns as well, but it was just a different vibe. And like the church would come alive, and then there'd be Neil on the platform doing his stuff along with Karen, and I always used to either be at the back doing the music, or I'd be on the front cheering for them. But it used to be brilliant.
Oh, wow. Oh, how funny. I must admit, I'd love to have been now to witness that, to be fair. But I love all the singing as well in the churches, to be honest. So
yeah,
especially, I've been to Stansted several times and watched mediums and things, and especially sometimes they do, what was the one there by the Black Eyed Peas? They normally would play there as well. That was a real good song. It's going to be a good night tonight. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because do you find as well when you're both demonstrating now, do you find that music can really lift?
Oh God.
Definitely.
Do you feel music is quite important? What's your opinion on that with your connection with Spirit?
Music is really important. I mean, it can change the mood within the church. And it gets people all together. And I use music in teaching as well. I use it for inspiration, because if you listen to some of the words in music. I mean, like there's one I use, Mariah Carey, Hero, the hero inside of you.
Yeah.
And that is talking about the spirit within. And so I use that to get people to connect with a piece of music and talk about it. And then they're talking about what it means to them. So that's a form of philosophy, which is another big passion of mine, the philosophy side. And, you know, music, I mean, music is just wonderful because it can uplift people. It can take them to a different vibration because music is on different vibrations. So, you know, you can have an upbeat, or you can make people sort of like think about things with some beautiful healing music. I mean, Neil's a bit like we call him the Pied Piper of spiritualism because he's, you know, he plays a tune, I go, yes, I love that one. And then, although I've played a couple of tunes to him and he's used them in the room as well. And whenever I'm doing a service, like when I'm organising fledgling nights for either Zoom rooms or, you know, face to face in the church, the music is always a big part. And I always think about what music is going to go at what point, you know, so I think it is important.
Absolutely. Do you feel that as well, Neil?
I felt music is definitely important. It builds the vibration for the demonstration, I think, personally, because it is about uplifting. It's about uplifting people. It is about giving out those positive messages from the spirit world as well, you know. And one of the songs for me, my favourite, is Lean on Me When I'm Not Strong. I'll be your friend to carry you on. And that is so important because that's what the spirit world are doing, you know.
Absolutely.
Coming there, coming closer to let us know that they are still leaning on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. And I do think as well, it's, and as you both said, you know, being a spiritualist and being a medium, we are there to help, support, and also to empower people. It's to lift people's energy, isn't it? To make people like reconnect and to understand and bring comfort. You know, it's never, I always say we are there to empower, not to disempower.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's so important.
I think I'm quite lucky, Kerry, because obviously you've met our lovely Shaz in the room.
Oh,
I have
amazing.
a beautiful angelic singing voice, and you know, she does inspire a lot of these Zoom rooms, you know, and I think it's really important, you know, because Shaz is that leading point of building up that vibration in the room, that energy, you know.
So it just shows you, doesn't it, about the power of music as well, and how that can also play a big part with being a medium, you know, and for that connection with spirit. So, you know, and also with people. So I feel it sort of does a whole circuit, doesn't it, really? So Karen, if you don't mind, can you explain to me how you communicate, if that's okay with you, how you communicate? Because some people tend to think, you know, oh, we just see them standing there, we see people from the spirit world standing there, we just have this conversation, or we have a telephone and we do a dial-up, okay. And I know everyone's so unique on how they work. Everyone works so differently. And I think if anyone's beginning as a medium, it's always important to be in your authentic self. So, Karen, how do you personally work, and the mechanics of how you do that as well?
When I first started my journey, I used to watch mediums work, and a lot of mediums go direct and they say, I want to come to the lady in the red jumper. You know, they're very, but direction and me do not go very well. If I come out of a shop, I don't know if I've got to go left or right. So when I first started on my journey, I was always confused as to where I was. So I said to the spirit world, I said, if you want me to do this work, will you please help me and give me good, strong, specific evidence so that I can know where I'm going, and I allow the evidence to take me to where I need to go. And how I get that is either I see a picture, I'm giving it clairaudiently, so thoughts come into my mind. And when I see a picture, I feel into that picture to understand what I'm saying. And I say, I want to know the relationship. So I ask the spirit world to tell me who they are. And they would put a thought in my mind clairaudiently. I want to know certain good pieces of information, because I don't know about you, but you know, a lot of people sound very similar, you know, especially grandmothers and grandfathers of a certain age, they sound very similar. So I always try to get as much detailed information as I can to start off, so that I can get to my recipient quickly. So and I try to trust. I have to trust a lot. And I mean, the other day I said, I know I've got a mother here and I know her name is Mary, or the name of Mary is connected. So I wanted to you know, and that sort of led me to, and even then there was 3 people in the room that could understand that information. So I try to be as direct as I can. And I just, the spirit world also work with memories with me. So they put a memory in my mind, maybe a place that I've been and things like that. So I talk about that place. And also sort of just memories, pictures, thoughts in my mind. And we as mediums have to feel into that to try and tell the story, because I think it's important to tell that person's story. And I'm quite nosy. I'm interested in people's lives, so I try to get to the nitty gritty of what, you know, what they did and who they were about. And also, you know, people come through as grandmothers and grandfathers, but before they became that person's grandmother and grandfather, they had lives, you know, they had interesting lives. So I try and find out as much as I can about their background as possible, because I think it's important that we try to honor the spirit world, to give as much information as we can, and to try and bring also that emotion, that wonderful connection, that love through as well. So that's sort of how I try to work, as direct as possible with as much information, but also bringing through the essence of that person, the personality and who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must admit, I you know, something resonated with me with what you said about going direct. My sat nav can be dreadful sometimes. So and I feel for me it's like working and just staying in that absolute beautiful space.
Yes.
Isn't it? And
Yeah.
and to just bring that information through. Because I also feel sometimes as well, because there's a massive difference, isn't there? We'll talk about this in a minute, between psychic and mediumship. You know, even though the two can go hand in hand on doing private readings, you know.
Yes.
But also I think sometimes we have to be careful as mediums, because if we do go direct, I'm not saying all the time, but then I feel sometimes we can have we can pick up on a psychic level,
True.
as well. So yeah, but obviously, you know, it depends on how everybody works, and everyone's so different, you know. So thank you, Karen. So let's head over to Neil. Neil, you know, if you could, again, it's talking about your authentic self and how you work as a medium, you know, and how you, because everyone works so differently. So what is it? How do you work?
I personally think mine's always been a strong clairsentience. So I've always sensed and felt a presence or an energy around me. And other things have come into place later as my developments sort of kicked into place. But it's taken me a long time. You know, it's not just like, you know, you have to learn and grow with what you're doing, okay? And it doesn't happen overnight. And quite often, and it's quite true what you just said about, quite often people say, I want to hear, I'm waiting to hear the spirit speak to me. And I go, but you're not going to hear it the way we're talking now. You don't get it like that, you know? Or people saying, I want to see the spirit the way we're seeing, you know? And it is so important that to explain, you know, how we work as mediums, okay? So we all work in different ways. So I mean, we've got 3 of us here, and all 3 of us work in a completely different way as a medium, you know? And when you've got 4 working together, or 5 that we have done in the past in my room, especially last year, it was nice to watch 5 different mediums come together and how they work, because they work so differently, you know? But one of the things that's important for me, it is about the essence of the person that's communicating from the spirit worlds, and bringing in those memories that they want to share back, you know. And like Karen just said as well, which resonated with me, that, you know, before they became a mum, dad, grandma, granddad, they had a life themselves. You know, it may be that they were, I don't know, cabin crew on the aeroplane, or it may be they worked at the post office as at the Royal Mail. Do you know what I mean? So everyone's had a life, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I do feel that's really important. It's about being in that essence of the person and the evidence of what they did as well, you know? And one of the things that I quite liked when we did the workshop, Kerry, was interviewing the spirits. That was amazing, Kerry, because I know you're going to be doing that on this event we're going to be doing in February.
Yes, I am. I'm so excited for that.
That was really clever in where you get students thinking about, so what would you like to hear from when you're receiving a message from your loved one? And then we had a list of what people were saying, and I thought that was amazing, you know? So I really enjoyed that. So yeah, so basically it's interviewing the spirit.
Yeah.
So is that what your workshop's going to be about then, Kerry, when we do that, when we do it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. That's good. I can put that on my list then.
You can put that on your list now. I'm so thrilled to be doing that because, you know, and as you've both said, you know, there's so much more to somebody who we meet, you know. Everyone's got their story to share, and it's like, you know, when you have nans and grandads, there's so much more to them, and it's about delving, and as you say, Karen, it's about being nosy.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be nosy, don't you, when you do this, because you know, we want to understand people's story and how they live. And it's like my nan, bless her. Now, my nan passed when she was 88. And, you know, she was very frail, very frail. She used to do knitting, but couldn't do knitting because of her arthritis and things like this. But my nan was a roller skating instructor in her heyday.
There you go, see. So that
You know?
was one of what she did.
Absolutely.
You know? So if a musician comes to you and brings you on that and says, I got roller skating with her, you would know straight away what that would mean.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's the little pearlers that I say pearlers, Neil says golden nuggets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like my mum, she was a pub landlady, but she also drove ambulances during the Second World War.
Wow.
So she wasn't just my mum that looked after me. She had her own business, and she was active in the war effort.
Can I just point out, there's a really good comment in the room. Cheryl Flynn, and she's put down, I believe mediumship is so much about personal development. And I totally agree with you there. And lots of people don't realise this. And that's so true.
It is.
It's about personal development in your life and your own experiences in your journey as well.
Because I always say as well, like when I teach, I always say, you have to understand the mechanics of you.
Yes.
You have to understand your energy, who you are, your truth. Because if we can't understand ourselves, how can we understand that communication with spirit?
Yeah.
So I think that's really, and that's a real good thing. I'm pleased you mentioned that actually on there as well, Neil, with what she wrote on there, that question. Who was that from? Sorry.
That was from Cheryl Flint.
Cheryl. So it's a real good question.
And we do have one from Tim Abbott about an exercise he does with students, which I call the passion exercise, where you allow the communicator to express what they're feeling and their life and their experience. So I totally agree with that, because that's really important.
Well,
Really.
Tim is a tutor at the college, and he's a very good tutor. I mean, I've worked with Tim years ago, and yeah, he's very good at getting his students to work. So yeah,
and I quite agree with what he's put there, because it is about bringing their story about who they were, and not about our need as such. Okay, it's about it's being that voice, isn't it? Being that voice for spirit, you know. And a sort of pushing ourselves out the equation, if you like, you know. So
one of the other things, Kerry, as well, just before, one of the things I think is really important is that we have to experience things in our lives, because if we didn't experience that, how can we help someone else that's going through that experience? And that's part of like where Shell's added to that personal development in your mediumship, because I could, you know, people that's lost a child, say, for instance, okay,
Yeah.
I don't have children, so I wouldn't know the grief of losing a child because I don't have them, okay?
Yeah.
But I can imagine, like, that by connecting with people that've lost their children and through sharing that experience with them and they're sharing it with me, that makes me a stronger medium to understand the compassion of someone that has lost a child.
Absolutely. And
You
It's
know?
interesting. It's interesting you say that, Neil, because a few years ago, when I was doing healing at West Wickham, a lady came in and she came to me for some healing, and after the healing, we sat chatting, and it turned out that she'd just come from her father's funeral, and she sat down in front of me and she said, "I just felt drawn to you." She said, "I just felt you'd understand my pain." And 6 months before that, I'd lost my dad. So she was sort of drawn to me because she, you know, she just felt that I would understand what she was going through. So it's interesting. Sometimes people are drawn to certain people and you can empathize. Everybody's journey is different when they're going through grief or when they're going through anything. And we can't say, I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
We can understand how we got through something, but we can't understand their exact journey, but we can support and hold that space for them to feel safe and to feel as if they can, you know, just let go and cry or do whatever. And there is a lot of healing. All mediumship is healing.
It is, yeah. Sylvia just
Really
put
is.
that in the room, actually.
I was just
Mediumship's
going to
great
mention
healing
that as
too,
well,
yeah.
actually. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And also, can I just say as well, which I think is really important, is like when communicators from the spirit world, they've got to feel comfortable with the right medium as well to pass
Yeah.
that message on, you know, because I do believe that they choose and resonate with a particular medium with the way the medium's going to deliver that message to the recipient. Okay, so I do feel that's also something that we need to consider about the communicator from the spirit. They've got to find the right medium to do it as well.
I
Definitely.
always feel really honoured that I have been chosen, that I am delivering a message, especially when you know that person really needs it, you know, and it helps that person maybe get over a hurdle of that grief process. And I think I think it's important, the work that we do, you know, and I think churches and now Zoom rooms are becoming a big part of people's lives.
Absolutely, definitely. And this is you know, the beauty of this as well, because of where we've all been in this pandemic and we all have to be staying indoors as well. How amazing is it with the spirit world to be able to bring that beautiful communication still through us, through these Zoom rooms or Facebook or however you want to work. I actually feel that the intelligence of the spirit world is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely, and I completely agree with you there, Karen. It's about being completely humble for each experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very clever, the spirit world. They suddenly thought we've got to use mediums in a different way.
Yeah.
And Zoom has come on. I mean, I thought Zoom was a song and an ice lolly. Before I got on here, I didn't even know what it was until about April time, last April.
I must admit, I've only really just started to understand the Zoom and the technology aspect myself. But I think because, you know, we want to still bring that, as you say, that healing message, don't we, to people, and especially with how things are at the moment. I think we're in a space of where people really need that at the moment. Would you agree, both of you?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Tim's also put a question.
Yeah,
Here's a question
yeah.
for you now. Whose desire is it in the sitting to prove the community of life? I don't believe The communicating spirit is interested in proving who they are, but catering for the medium is a desire from a spirit communicator. Interesting question. Is there, as you've just said, simply for the message, the reason for coming not to prove the continuity of life?
I sometimes, believe,
Opinion. Sorry,
yeah,
I'll get there in a minute. I'm trying to
I
write some stuff
sometimes
down.
believe, for me, there's not always a message when someone's coming through. Sometimes it's just to say, I'm here, I love you still. My love's never gone, you
Yeah.
know? I
It's-
don't believe there's always a message to give to someone, you know, not to say, I see this is going on in your life, or there's a job situation that's going to change or whatever. Don't believe they do that sometimes. They do come in just to say, I'm here.
That's
I
right.
love
I mean,
you.
when people are here, we text, we phone, don't we? We say, hi, how are you doing? I'm
Mhm.
here for you if you need me. Yes, they have to, prove who they are because they're not here physically. But at the end of the day, then the spirit world do not tell you how to run your life. That's personal responsibility, and that's the choices that we have on earth. But they can just say, I'm here to support you. And that's what they do.
And also, if that person isn't the most, if that person wasn't a massive communicator in life on this earth, they're not going to all of a sudden be the massive communicator in the spirit world.
That's true. Yeah.
Because it's our personality, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
the essence of us. So that essence of us never changes, does it? And I always say to people, we can change our eye colour by putting contact lenses in. We can have all gold teeth if we want to. I can have blonde hair. I think I look a bit strange, but I could have blonde hair if I wanted to. So we can change all of the physical aspect. Okay, but our personality, the essence of us, I don't believe is really changeable. And as you say, if someone isn't the greatest at communicating whilst they're on life, they're not going to go into the spirit world and go, I am here.
Can I just share a story now?
Absolutely, love to.
My dad was not the best person in this world. He wasn't a good father. He was a really difficult man. Okay, but he had his ways as well, and he came from a background of his own family where they weren't very close. His dad put him into a ball school when he was young for naughty behaviour and stuff like that. So my dad wasn't really a father figure, okay? So when my dad goes to the spirit world, he comes through now. It's taken him 15 years for him to develop and realise where he went wrong in this world. And now he's coming through with some of the amazing messages to me from mediums, saying like, son, I'm so proud of the way you've turned out and what you are doing. My dad never said that if he was here, never, So when I hear that message from him now, do you know that touches me? That touches my soul. It makes me emotional. I cry with that message because I cry because I'm like, learned to forgive the way my dad was. And it is about that. It is about, doesn't matter what you've been through in life with someone, you have to let them progress. Like you have to progress in this world, you have to let them move on with their soul.
Definitely.
It's a shame that people don't progress a little bit more while they're here and not wait until they go to the spirit world. But everybody has a chance to maybe, if you think about, when you first started becoming as a spiritualist, I know myself, it's changed the way that I think. I suppose when I first before I came into it, it was all about what car I drove, where I lived, how big my house was, how much I earned, and things like that. I lived in a very materialistic lifestyle, and that's changed because then you realise that the materialism of life. Yes, we all need to earn money. We all need to put roofs over our head, but having posh things and it's about the people that you've got around you. It's the memories that you make. It's the people that that you can rely on, and the good friendships, and also how people remember you as a person. What do people say about you after you've gone? You can always judge maybe a person's life by how many people that go to your funeral. I mean, if I always look, one of my favorite films at Christmas is Scrooge, Christmas Carol. And you know, when everybody's going singing that, or saying that they're so pleased that he's not here, and then he sees that, and he sort of says, oh, why are they all pleased that man's no longer there? And he realizes that it's him, and they can't wait for him to go. And all the things that and yet when you know, I've given readings where people have been so surprised at how many people have been at their funeral and what's been said and the tributes and things like that. And so I think it's important that we look at us as people and not worry about what's around us, but also how we are as as people, and what we do for others, and how we conduct ourselves. I think that's important as well.
Absolutely, and it's so important, isn't it? And I quite agree with you there, Karen. Why can't we all learn in this life, you know, the earthly life? But also, like with what Neil said about how his dad is coming through with different messages now, I think that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, because it just shows you the continuation of the soul and the evolving of the soul as well, of how, you know, when we, and I truly, this is my personal opinion, okay, I truly believe that when we do pass, we go into what we'd say like a life viewing room, if you like, where we get to watch from the moment we took our first breath to the moment we took our last breath, you know, and we get to watch all the different cause and effect, you know, of our actions and our reactions, you know. And I think it's beautiful when somebody maybe hasn't done fantastic on this earth, but then comes through in beautiful messages to say how different they've evolved and things like this, and understood, you know. So I think it's spirit never ever stops surprising me. And someone actually put on one of the messages, I think it was Jan, but we are continuously learning, and we are, even here on the earth and even within spirit, you know, it's a continuous cycle, isn't it, of evolving.
It is, yeah. There's a great film actually, because I'm a film buff, Kerry. I love films, and it's I can never remember what this film's called. But it's got Meryl Streep in it, and it's about, and I can't think of the guy that's in it. It was probably about early 90s, this film, and this guy dies, and he goes over to the other side, and he doesn't realize he's dead, and he's put up in this hotel, and it's probably the equivalent of like a Premier Inn, and he's got to wait, and he has to sort of, he's being assessed before they decide where he's going to go. And then he meets Meryl Streep, and they fall in love in this holding place, and she's in a posh hotel because she's had this amazing life on earth and been so selfless and all things like that, and he's been a little bit selfish, and it's and he's never really sort of like put other people first and things like that. And it's quite a nice story about this interim period before they decide where they're going to go or what they're going to do within the world of spirit, if you like. And I can't think. Well, I'll have to Google it, and I'll have to put my phone on and Google it, because it's a really good film. It's funny, but I watched it when I first started my journey into spiritualism, and it made me think, and it's always stayed with me. And it's something I always talk about with my students, because it's like you watch your own film, you watch your own life on a film. And this is what they have to do. They have to review their life and see what, you know, they could have done better there, or they should have done something different at that point in their life. It's an interesting concept.
You've got me intrigued now, Karen. So you're going to have to really dig deep. And I actually think, do you know what? I actually think you should put this on the comments later on or something like this, because I think it'd be a really, it sounds a real interesting film to watch.
I'm gonna Google it now so that I
can have a little look.
I watched one the other night and I was really engrossed with it. It was Bless This Child. I don't know if you ever watched it.
No.
And it was about a girl, it was a sister of a sister that had a child, but she had been into bad habits of her body and misused substances and stuff like that. But she had this daughter, and it was on the sign of a star, and this daughter was actually gifted. So she had the magical powers, and it was just a fascinating story to watch. And I
That
was just
sounds
so
interesting.
engrossed by this story.
Yeah.
And then I was like really getting into it the other night. Loved it.
So that's another one you're going to have to put on there, Neil, as well in the comments for
Right,
everyone to maybe watch.
the film is called Defending Your Life,
Okay, I'm writing this down now.
and it's got Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, and it was
Okay,
made in 1991.
brilliant. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm going to have a little look at that now. So
it's funny.
we've
It's
got a
funny.
question come on here from Cheryl. So I don't know who wants to answer it, but she's actually asked, why do you think someone who you were very close to here very rarely comes through when they're now in spirit?
That's a difficult one, and I can only answer that from a personal perspective. For me, when I first started going into the church, I desperately wanted to hear from my nan. Now, my nan and I were very, very close. She practically brought me up. And I used to sit in church wanting a message from my nan just to know that she was okay, especially because of her connection with spiritualism. And she didn't come through. And the first person that I really got a message from was my grandfather, who I didn't know. But the information and the evidence that I received from my grandfather was amazing. And I'll always remember that message. And I got his surname, I got so much information. And also part of the message was for my mum, who was supposed to have come with me that night to the church, but she didn't because she wasn't very well. And at West Wickham, they always used to write the messages down. So I took the message home, and mum read it, and everything that I couldn't understand, mum could. And for me, that was probably a part of, it made me really believe, if that makes sense. It increased my faith. And then after that, after Grandad had come through, then Nan came through. So I don't know why people that you're really close to don't come through first, but I also believe that sometimes the people that you need to hear from, or that maybe need to help you or support you through that difficult situation, will come through to help you. So maybe my granddad came through to me because my mum needed the help, and my granddad was very close to my mum. So I can only talk from that point of view. I don't know if Neil's got any points on.
Well, that is an interesting question, but I still feel sometimes they haven't found the right medium to relay the message. And I think that's what they're looking for, the person in the spirit world. And I remember witnessing, I was in a service and I watched a medium, Tim Abbott would know the medium, and Karen would, and probably you, Kerry, Colin Bates.
Yeah.
He's Minister of the Union of the SNU. And Colin Bates, many years ago, in these earlier days of training as a medium, he came to my church in Buckinghamshire in Aylesbury, and he gave this lady a message. And this lady had been part of the church for 30 odd years. She was their head of healers. She'd been vice president. She must have held every single title in the church there was. And he gave her one message from her dad, and he only mentioned one word, and it was bananas. And she went, oh my God, I've been waiting for that piece of evidence for nearly 30 years. That piece of evidence clinched it to her who it was straight away, without even saying it's your dad. It was just that, because that was the key password they had between them. When he was dying and she was looking after him, he said to her, if there's anything going to the spirit world, I will tell you, because I will mention bananas to you. And she said, okay. 30 years later, it happened.
Wow, that's incredible, isn't it?
You know? So I do believe that they do have to find the right medium to bring the right message.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite agree with that as well, Neil, to be fair, because you know, and also I think sometimes it depends on the mediums, and like Karen mentioned earlier about sometimes the media, the spirit world rather, sorry, will actually spur off of your own experiences.
Yeah.
And understanding, okay, or show you certain even members of your family to bring that connection or something like this, you know. So I must admit, I struggle sometimes with people that were of service, because I don't have a lot of that recollection of understanding within my own mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I do think as well, sometimes it's also about the medium's own understanding and experience of their lives.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we don't understand about rocket science or physics or anything like that. Whereas maybe somebody from that background would, and they do tap into. I mean, I always get my dad's background is from the East End, so I always get sort of very much duck and dive characters that remind me of family in my, you know, my own family, if you like, you know, people, Arthur Daly type characters. So they always come to me because I can relate to that, because it's part of my family background, being in the pubs and all things like that. I mean, I do get you know, people that are elegant and speak very well, because that's my mum's side of the family as well. So yeah, I do believe they draw on what you know and where you've been and all the experiences that you've had, you know.
We talk about people having lives, okay, all right. So a medium that's working has a life. A medium has done jobs, okay, probably before they became a medium, because obviously there's situations how they got into this. And I will take, for instance, Albert Best. I don't know if you know Albert Best, but obviously he's one of the pioneers.
Yeah.
And his job was the postman. Okay, so messages he would give, it would always be an address within his messages because of the background work that he did.
That's
you
right.
know. And then you have someone like somebody that's a nurse that's done nursing. They know straight away identifications of someone's health issues when someone's coming forward from the spirit world because they're nursing backgrounds, you know. So I feel it's the same here in this life. A medium also has a life as well, and they've experienced job situations to deliver the message as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a friend actually that's a nurse, and she gets you know, she'll get the name of the medication that the person's taking, exactly where in the heart they had a problem, because she understands the whole makeup of what goes on. You know, her information is amazing. And years ago, I used to work in a shop. I worked in the one-stop shop, and my part of my job was stocking the cigarettes and the tobacco and the drink. So at one point in my mediumship, I was saying, this gentleman's here and he smoked green golden Virginia, you know, senior service players, and I was getting all the names of all the tobacco that all these people used to smoke and what they used to drink, because it was what I was doing at the time.
Can I just tell you what someone just put? I think this is lovely.
I know, it's brilliant.
Yeah, have you read it? One of my friends put a Kit Kat in her husband's coffin and told him not to eat it until she was with him. She had a reading and he came through and said he hasn't eaten the Kit Kat yet and was waiting for her. I think that is
oh
amazing.
My God, I've gone all goosebumpy.
That is amazing.
That's amazing.
Okay?
That is phenomenal, isn't
and
it?
That is the best evidence you could ever get.
Absolutely.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's amazing, you know. And what a wonderful proof, if you like, of you know, of life, of the continuous life.
It's like my dad, for instance, Kerry. My dad had been going through this funny stage of his life. The last couple of weeks before he died, he experienced something was happening around him. All right, even though he didn't believe in the afterlife. Okay, and he was going round to my mum's early hours of the morning, waking her up because he wanted to chat with her. All right. Anyway, my conversation with my dad, my last conversation before he died, he said to me, son, if there was anything to happen to me, why would I want to go to a stranger I don't know to give them a message when I can do it directly to you? And literally 3 years after him dying, He came to me in a sleep state at 3:30, woke me up, and he was the first one that told me about my mum's breast cancer that she was going through. She didn't know she had it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I do believe these stories
Mm.
are powerful. They really are.
Mm.
Yeah. And you actually take me into a different bit of a topic here, Neil, as well. When we, you know, all right, not everyone can maybe be a public medium, okay? But and what's your thoughts on this? I actually truly believe that everybody can communicate and can connect with their own loved ones that are within spirit, because I feel that there's that recognition now of memories, that recognition of love, if they allow themselves just that time and space to be open-minded and to open their heart and to invigorate that experience. I truly believe everyone can do that.
I believe they can, but I think it's just nice to have that confirmation from someone else as well. When you are actually like, I don't know, something's like falling off the windowsill, say a photograph, and it's happened quite a lot. You know, and it's off someone, and you've spoken directly. You know, it's just nice to have that confirmation from someone. You know that photograph on the windowsill of your mum. Your mum's just letting you know when she falls off. She's just letting you know she's there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just having that confirmation back.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely, completely agree. What's your take on that, Karen?
I mean, I think that the spirit world do try to let you know that they're around, but sometimes I think people are not aware of it because they're too much in in the world that we're in. They're too busy with that, and they don't. But when they really need that connection of somebody that they've lost. Now, my son, for instance, he was going for a bad time at school just after my dad died, and he came home to me and he said, I lifted up my desk today, Mum, and I saw Granddad's face in my desktop. And I said, oh, that's really lovely. And he said, well, why do you think he did that? Because my son, when he was younger, was very much matter of fact, black and white. And I said, well, you're going through a bit of a tough time at the moment, so Granddad just wanted to let you know that he's supporting you and sending you love from the spirit world, because he knew about the spirit world because he'd been brought up, with me doing what I've been doing for a long time. But I do believe that mediums are born. You're born with the gift of mediumship to communicate. They're not made. But I do think the spirit world come through and to show that they're there. It's just that people are not always aware that the spirit, they think, oh, why is that photograph moved? Or they don't believe it because their mind comes into play. So when they go to a church and it is confirmed, then it makes them think. And sometimes that can be like an awakening within them to grow and to be aware, not maybe just of working with mediumship, but also just to be aware of their own spirit and to get in touch with who they are as people.
There's a message in the room for you, Kerry, actually, from Simon Clark.
Okay.
It was all to do with the message you gave to him on Christmas Eve. I assume it was in my room.
That must have been in your room when we was all demonstrating.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, Kerry did a reading for my wife Christmas Eve and said there was something about decorations. Hasn't happened yet, but keep an eye out. Straight after the battery candles on the tree started turning on, one at a time, over many days, and after Christmas, the candle would stay on until the battery went flat, which was in minutes. All new batteries.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Wow. So it just shows you, doesn't it? Like what you were saying, Neil, a minute ago, about having that sort of, when you're saying about the photograph and things like this, it just gives that beautiful connection, doesn't it? Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Simon, for putting that up as well. It's that was an amazing demonstration that evening. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Was great fun. It was a lovely evening.
Yeah.
And how Anne-Marie did that part of who you would like to meet up with.
Oh, that was
memory. That was just so that done it all. That done it all for the service.
Do you know what? This is what you know, people say you can't get that that ambience, you can't get that feeling on Zoom. Well, I disagree, because we had that feeling.
Oh yeah.
Didn't we? We had that when, and it was like the echo of all those names, and it just, I was like, I was sitting there with goosebumps. It was just absolutely wonderful when she did that. You know,
I mean, I think, like, 'cause there was a subject the other day about somebody starting up a group. I think it was Nigel, actually, Nigel Gaff, and someone commented, "Well, how's that going to work on Zoom?" Starting the group, and I text on it, and I said, "Well, you'll find that a group on Zoom can be just as good as to having a group in the church.
definitely.
In fact, more powerful at times."
Yeah.
You know, because I think we've had some amazing services throughout the whole of the Christmas period.
We have, yeah.
Not just me, but I'm talking about in general in
Yeah.
Zoom rooms, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still beautiful that you know, that we are still able to deliver that comfort to many people, you know. So going back a little bit here, because I was messaged earlier on a few questions, and one of the questions that came through by several different people actually along the same lines was, can you advise on the process of stepping into a spiritual journey and becoming a medium? How, you know, is there anything that you can recommend on the beginning basis or anything like this at all to help them people that are actually looking to maybe understand mediumship a bit more, to also to develop themselves? What would you advise them on their beginning footsteps? Let's start with Karen, and then we'll go over to Neil, because it's good to get a different perspective on things.
Well, I would find a church, go to a spiritualist church, and see what they're offering with regard to teaching, and you know, if you're go to a few services, see how you feel about things. Ask around. I mean, now, you see, going back when I started, I just went to the church. That's what we all did. We just went to a church. Now people will Google, people will do searches on social media and things like that. But if you're choosing someone that you want to sit with, or you feel, I personally feel that you've got to resonate with that person that you want to guide you, to teach you. And you've also got to maybe resonate with the circle that you join, or the church that you go to. So I always follow your gut instinct, follow your intuition, what sits right with you. And it might be that you might have to sort of, like, you know, you might go to a couple of churches and think, oh, this isn't really right for me. But then you may find yourself sort of asking about beginners groups, and or put that thought out there and see what comes your way, because sometimes just by chance something will come your way. But once you do find that place, you've got to work on yourself. You've got to find out about the spirit within, that power that drives you, that is connected to God, that powers the connections to the spirit world that we have. And just enjoy the journey, and don't rush the journey, because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And don't rush it, and just enjoy it, and don't be in too much. Too many people at the moment are in a rush to get onto the platform and to embrace all parts of spiritualism and mediumship. You know, learn about the pioneers, learn about the history of the religion, you know, because that's important. And also learn about yourself as a person, as we said earlier.
And I just wanted to add to that, because I agree with everything you're saying there. But the thing that I would add to that as well is, when you're developing whatever, you should say to the spirit world, I'm here, use me in the best way you know, because it may not be mediumship, guys. It may be something else within spiritualism. It may be a healer. It may be even in the church on the committee making a cup of tea, as I always say. So I'm not the best world's tea maker. Mine's awful tea, you know. But the spirit know you better than you know yourself, you know. It may be that they've got plans for you to do inspiration speaking, okay? So just allow the time to find out what you're meant to be doing, you know, and don't run before you can walk. You know, it's like like a child being born, okay, and it's like a child has to learn to walk and talk and take the steps. It's the same with development. So I just wanted to add that.
No, absolutely, I completely agree. And Tim has actually put on there about teach students patience, and I really agree with that, because you know, so many times I've had it where I've taught and people, you know, students have gone, oh, I'm doing the weekend, so will I be a medium? That scares me.
I know.
That really scares me.
Or they go, or they give one message in a circle, and then that's it. And then they're like out there, trying to get church bookings because they're giving one message.
And the thing is, as well, is as a medium we have so much personal responsibility, and it's massive. Oh, yeah. I take that so seriously, and I actually, my students, if any of my students are watching, they're going to be like that. Oh gosh, here she goes again. You know, personal responsibility, because we are talking about people's emotions and feelings, and it's massive. And if we don't understand that, a medium can be more detrimental, you know. So as a medium, it is so important to take that time to nurture, to have that patience, to grow, to understand, and to have that experience.
And also, Kerry, another thing is, I think it's about the person being honest as well when they're working. So if they're not getting the information from the spirit world, and you are picking it up within the auric field of the person, or so, you tell the person that, you know, don't just give the message and allow someone thinking the spirit's telling them that. Yeah, you know, absolutely. So it's about being honest, as well when you're working.
And that's really interesting, because I won't say who, but there was a medium once who done a big demonstration, booked tickets, you had to book tickets and things like this. And they came on stage and they just stood there and they went, I'm so sorry, everybody, but tonight it is just not working for me. I'm really, truly sorry. And I know all of you maybe have come far places. However, I'm going to completely reimburse all your ticket money. And I'm really apologise. And I remember thinking, wow, okay, that's marvellous. Because again, you're talking about working in truth, you know, and that always stuck with me.
That's respect.
Absolutely, and that always stuck with me, because I always felt, if that person could do that, then little old me, I'm always humble, you know. If it doesn't work for a particular evening, put my hands up, sorry people, but you know. And it's about working in your truth and sustaining that space. Absolutely.
Or if you're given something and you haven't got it right in the way the spirit world is telling you, be honest, just say, I think that's me, I'm really sorry, I've misinterpreted the information, that's not how, you know, I should have given it to you, you know, or whatever. It is about being honest.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all you can be, is be honest, you know.
And also I think as well, I remember some of my very beginning, I've been very fortunate when I very first started my own development, which was 20 years ago. Should I made a bit now? Okay, over 20 years ago. And I know I was very fortunate, because I did go to some really good circles, and you know, amazing tutoring from different circles, that was. But I also remember one circle that I did go into, and I was a bit like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm not too sure about this. So, and then I actually sat down and I actually questioned the circle leader at the time. Can you please tell me your experiences? You know, what's your knowledge and what have you done? And the answer I got wasn't what I was really expecting, because there was no understanding there at all. And I think if anyone's going out to learn to step into the beginning aspect of development, I really think it's important to question the person who is holding the circle or the development or whatever it is you're doing, to understand what their knowledge and their own experiences and what they have been doing themselves. So I really think that's quite important as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
definitely.
You've got to feel happy and safe with the people that, you know, the circle leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I think we're frozen. Hold on 1 second. Oh, hold on a sec. He seems like my internet.
So I assume he's talking about all three of us. Let me ask the question: what is the purpose of mediumship? So, Kerry, over to you.
It's okay. I was losing everyone. Everyone froze then for a moment. Sorry.
Right.
So I've just caught catching up on what was said.
Right.
Whose question we on? Sorry.
So Tim Abbott, he said, as three established mediums, so I assume he's talking about us three at the moment as we're doing this. Let me ask the question: what is the purpose of mediumship?
Oh, interesting question. For me, I believe the purpose of mediumship is to bring, as what we've spoken about earlier, you know, I feel that this has been covered already, but it's about bringing that beautiful healing.
Yeah, definitely.
Of comfort to somebody who has lost one of their loved, and especially with children as well. For me, it's priceless. If you can bring, and it's something because I had an experience a little while ago, a few weeks ago, with a reading, and it was her child, and that what I delivered through, not me, but through spirit delivered through me to her, was priceless, because it gave her hope, it gave her comfort to know that her child is still very much around her. So for me, Tim, my answer to that is bringing through that beautiful healing, healing of healing that person's soul a little bit more and more.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I also would add to that, sometimes that can help someone move forward in their lives as well. And there could also be questions that have been answered for them as well, you know? So it is about like helping them move on in their lives as well.
Well, mediumship to me is it's uniting, it's communing with the two worlds. So it's the science part of spiritualism, because spiritualism is a science, a philosophy, and a religion. And it's the science part because it's the evidence, it's the proof that there is life after death. Because, you know, if you go back to the early years in physical mediumship, there was physical proof because people used to see physical phenomena from the mediums of years ago, and now it's more mental mediumship. But within the mental mediumship, the evidence can be specific evidence can be so strong, like you said about the Kit Kat, that they can't refute it. You know, oh my God, how would they know that? So it's proof for them that there is life after death. But it is also what you've both said, a healing. It's comfort, it gives support, but it is the science part of spiritualism.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tim's just said he likes your answer, Kerry. Spiritual upliftment to the client.
Oh, thank you, Tim. We've also got a question I've just seen come up actually from Bill Hughes. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Yeah. I can't wait to get back to physical circle. Even as a serving medium, I truly believe we need the structure of class to keep us grounded and connected, as well as still continuing to learn. Just because, oh, hold on a minute, we've disappeared. Hold on a sec. Oh my God. Oh, I've lost it. But anyway, basically, sorry, it's just disappeared off my page here. So,
I've got it here.
on, Mel.
Grounded and connected, as well as still continue to learn. Just because we are serving spirit, it doesn't mean we know it all. It's all about being totally grateful and humble to be of service to the spirit. Well, I think we've been discussing it. This has been the theme, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole of the evening.
I would agree with Bill, because Bill sat in my circle at West Wickham. And, you know, 2 years ago, I went back to the college. I'd not been to the college for a long time. And I went back to the college for the Spiritualist Congress meeting, which was over 3 days. And then Simon James and Brian Robertson were doing a course. And I decided, I wasn't booked on the course, but while I was doing this Congress, I decided to go back, and I was a student. I said, I just feel I need to do your course. So they booked me on it, and I did it. And it was a fantastic course for me. And I wasn't doing mediumship. I did something completely different on a philosophical level, but it changed me. So, and I've been, as I said, I've been involved in spiritualism for a long, long time, but we still grow and we still learn. And I still take the odd class with Janet Parker when she does stuff online. I'll still go on and do her stuff, because we don't want a plateau. We just need to grow, and we need to learn as well. So I think it's important, no matter you know, how long you've been developing. And I know mediums that have been working longer than me that still have their circle, or they still sit in the power with certain friends or colleagues, and I think that that's important too.
And I think that I completely agree, because I still do. I still sit regular. For me, because I also feel here it's important, because, you know, as our world changes, the spirit world changes. It, again, we talk about continually evolving. So I just feel it's really good to still, and it's important because we are all still learning as well. So it's a continuous thing, isn't it?
It
So
is.
we've got a really interesting question on here, okay, that I'm going
about where do you think heaven is?
Where do you think heaven is, or the place you go to afterlife? Thank you, Susan, because that's a real interesting question. So let's start over with Karen. Karen, what's your thoughts?
Do you know, everybody sort of refers to heaven as up here, you know, up there, but I think, you know, there's a lovely song, and heaven is here, and I think we just move. I think we shift our consciousness. I think it's all around us. I think that, you know, I think we just shift our consciousness and we just go into a different place. We always think of heaven as above us, but I think heaven is all around us, and I think that, you know, there's different vibrations and places that where we go. That's and sometimes when we talking about when my mum was just about to pass, she was I thought, I went in to see her and I thought she'd gone, because she had this beautiful serene look on her face, and I felt her hand, and she was still warm, so I knew she hadn't gone, but she just looked so angelic. It was untrue. And then all of a sudden she came back and she looked at me and she said, "You know where I've been." And I felt my dad in the room. I felt my nan in the room. And it was almost as if they were coming to tell her that, you know, to sort her life out, and because time was coming. And she then wanted to get things in order, practical things in order. And then a few days later she went. So it's almost as if she knew that she was going to go. So I think it's all around us. I think that, but we're just not aware of it sometimes. What about you, Neil?
That's weird, because I have, I agree with you, but I've got two different versions because of being partly Catholic as well. And I believe that there are dimensions in the spirit world. I believe there is different dimensions. If someone was ill and they were very bad when they went to the spirit world, they would still be in that place of our hospital, as we call it, until they're nursed and in the right way of dealing with what's happened to them. But I also believe as well, as I sit in my lounge, there is another room in my room as well. So I know that it could be people sitting on my settee, for I know, having a little natter and discussing what we're talking about, you know? So...
Yeah, they're watching us doing a little chat tonight and going, well, they haven't got that completely right. Well, that's a bit different take on it.
Right. I mean, and then if we get onto those sort of questions as well, then I would question, is there a hell?
Yeah.
You know, because I believe we live in hell with some of the things that goes on in our world, and some of the damage that people have done to others. And you know, you just like to watch some of the American programs, about what goes on there, you know, and you think, oh my, it's horrifying, absolutely horrifying. So I sometimes think this is hell. I do believe we live on hell. But then you could be going into all different, because someone's asking about reincarnation now, you know, so you could go on to all these different subjects, all these questions.
Beauty of spirituality, isn't it?
I know. Do you know what? It depends where your mind's at as well, because your mind can be a monster, and sometimes if your mind's not in a good place,
absolutely,
you know, and you allow doubts and fears, and when you're worried about something, the mind manifests all these different scenarios, and this is where, especially at the moment, people are struggling, because they, I mean, I've been struggling this week because I haven't got a clue which day of the week it is, because it's all been, with the bank holiday, with Christmas, with my other half working different days and all things like that. And I wake up in the morning, I think what day it is. So when you've been on your own, and when you're isolated, and when you're going through difficult times, your mind can be it's very strong, and it can influence the way you think as well. So I think it depends where your mindset is. So
Absolutely.
I think during this pandemic that we're going through, I think we have to try and keep ourselves on a very positive vibration.
Yeah. And then you think also, with what we've been through since last year, I think there's the reason for that. I do believe there's a reason why this has happened, because I think it was to bring a bit of kindness to people, helping and thinking about other people that need to support more than what we do as well. Like the homeless, like Bill's on, and Bill's helped build that charity for the homeless. We're doing one for mine for mental health, and I think it has brought a lot of brotherhood of man coming together in this past year. Just people thinking about other people, and realising there's a lot of people out there that need support.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Now, Deanna, it's just gone down on a thread, so I can't see it, but Deanna actually put on there, sometimes it can feel a bit isolating, being spiritual, and it's nice if we can sort of be part of a divine community and together, And Deanna, I'd like to actually say on there as well, yeah, it can be, okay, at times, okay, because not everyone understands our perspective, which is fine, because everyone has their own religions, their own beliefs, their own opinions, But it's important, Deanna, to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, okay, and to, maybe, join some of the groups that are on Facebook and things like this, and be part of that community and that collectiveness of love. Because we are all here, and we are all here to help and support each other, and to bring that. And how beautiful that we do have. Don't get me wrong, I think sometimes the internet can have its downsides, absolutely, but the positivity that we can produce on here is incredible, and I feel that's what's needed. And as Neil said, especially during this period of time and more what's been going on in the world, and Debbie Pike, bless her, she's put on there, that's why we need to spread light and love in this world. Absolutely. And that's what it's about.
Zoom rooms, chats like this, things that have been going on Facebook Live, what Veronica did on Christmas Day, what Bill did, what we're going to be doing on the 6th of February. It's forming a community to let people know that we're here, because a lot of people, they're on their own, and a lot of people have said to me that, the services and all these sorts of things. My neighbour, my dear friend Liz, she said it's been a godsend for her to listen, to chat, to type bits and pieces in, to go onto a Zoom call, to watch the service, and then have the little chit chat that you would normally have in the church after the service. She said that's been a lifeline for her, and it's been a lifeline for a lot of people. So there are communities out there. There are a lot of people that there's lots of rooms out there, and Veronica always puts on what's going on her online spiritualist services page. That's always
I was spot on. I knew there was going to be another lockdown. Boris has announced we're in lockdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you guys probably haven't heard this from Bill. Boris has announced another UK lockdown. What are your opinions on how we have reached out to people since March last year and moving forward? That's what we're talking about, Bill, actually.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
We must be psychic.
Exactly. We must have known, Bill. We must have known. Well, we're just going to continue, aren't we? All three of us to just continue doing what we're doing.
Absolutely. And it's about spreading, isn't it? That positivity, and even when people are feeling a bit low, reach out, talk. It's so important. You know,
definitely.
Neil, you've got a room, haven't you? You're a room. Can you post
Yeah.
that in the comments? Do you think could you do a copy of the link of your room and put it in the comments here? Because I think it's really important that we all reach out and try and support each other. And Neil has an amazing room that's really supportive. Karen, you're a big part of that there as well, aren't you? You know, and in there they have all different talks, don't you? All different chapters and different talks going.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. We have services. We've got some good services coming up. We've got one tomorrow with a lady called Claire Edwards. She's a CSNU SNU speaker. We have Paul Jacobs doing the night for us on the 13th of January. We have Tim Abbott doing an evening for us on a Sunday service. We have Natalie Walker doing a service for us. So yes, so we've got quite a lot of we've got yourself, Kerry, on Saturday nights.
Yes.
Working with
looking
with Selena and two of my students.
Oh, is that in your room?
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll have to come into that. Yeah. I mean,
aren't we working Neil as well again?
We're doing a service for Brotherhood Gate. I think that's
it.
January or February. I can't remember. I think it's February, beginning of February. I think it's the day after our charity event.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I haven't got my diary to hand, so I'm a bit unorganised. Sorry, but
So Deanne, what does the room mean? It's a Zoom room Kerry's talking about. So it's like what you're in now. We're in a Zoom room, and then we've done the live Facebook feed. So it's the Zoom room.
And I'm also going to have a little look and put your group up. Is that okay, Neil?
That's fine. Yeah, you can put my Facebook page up if you want.
Because I really feel that this is important. Let me go down a bit. I feel that this is really important that we all sort of share. So guys, I'm just putting on here, this is Neil's Facebook group. Okay, so Neil runs this amazing group and it's called Spirit Talks, and on there is all different things, and you can reach out and connect with many different people on here. And Neil does all different events and tutoring as well on here, and it's a real good support group, Neil, I feel, because you know there's always somebody on there putting something, so everyone can sort of reach out at any given time.
Yeah.
Without being invasive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We've already got 4 people asked to join already.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Kerry.
No, it's fine. And I'm so passionate about all supporting each other, you know.
Yeah.
I feel that's really important.
I'm on Facebook and I've got a page as well.
Karen's got a page.
Yeah, I'm going to go back onto your page, Karen. I did share it in here a little while ago, but because we're having quite a lot of comments, I will actually share that again.
Simon's also asking, Kerry, do you want a group or page?
Yes, I do. So
Yes.
I'll put mine on there as well. Yeah.
I mean, we all teach workshops. We all run groups as well. So
okay. So is I don't know if Charlotte's on. Is Charlotte on? Because someone's asking us about how to pay into the GoFund for the charity event.
Charlotte's very good at normally putting the link up, isn't she?
Yeah, she's really quite good like that normally.
I don't know if she's still on or not because it's obviously it's Monday night, it's EastEnders night, isn't it?
Monday night, EastEnders night.
Excellent. Oh, brilliant. Okay, I'm just trying to get your page back up on.
Oh, Charlotte's hoping she's done it.
Oh, she's done it.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlotte.
Okay. Karen, are you able to put up your page on here? I will type it in. East Sussex, isn't it? Mediumship.
And Alison's asked, Kerry, can I put up Friends of Spirit Cornwall, Kerry?
Absolutely, Alison. Alison, I'm so lovely to see you on here. Alison's amazing. Alison runs a beautiful centre in Cornwall. I have had the privilege to demonstrate there in person, and I was supposed to demonstrate this year in August, but obviously we wasn't able to go. But yeah, Alison, please put that up there, because again, it's all about support, and this is what this is about. You know, and it's important. Definitely so important. So please put that on as well. And I just, you know, I'm just here, I just want to help people to, especially now we're going into this next lockdown, and I feel it's important that we all communicate here. And do you know what, guys, I think we should do this a little bit more often, like just have these lovely conversations about, you know, support, positivity, spirituality, and it's about sort of, you know, sharing, isn't it? Sharing is caring.
It is, definitely.
The thing is, we used to run at West Wickham, there used to be like a discussion group once a month, and people would come into the church, and there'd be some, you know, some people that have been involved in spiritualism and mediums come there as well, and people that were new to it, people that wanted to ask questions would come in, and discussions would happen. And this is what it's also all about: connecting, communicating with people that are here as well as people that are in the spirit world. I think sometimes we forget about that, and I think it's important to reach out and connect with people that are here as well. You know, that's important.
And that's what I love about, you know, us all working together. We all help each other, we all come together as well, and I think that's amazing. You know,
it's been great because I've worked with so many different people since you know, lockdown and everything. I've worked in so many different places, and reached out to so many different people and connected with people on social media. So from that point of view, it's been really good, you know, to reach out and connect. It's been an awful time with regard to the loss and the sadness around that, but people are connecting because I think that we need to.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And if Tim's still on, I'm looking forward to you coming into Neil's room, because I'm going to chair for you.
Oh yeah, Tim, if you're still on, Karen's sharing your evening with us. I chickened out, got Karen to chair you instead, so I can sit and enjoy.
Excellent. I couldn't share my my page on here for some reason, but I'll put it on my Facebook wall, and I'm trying to get your page copied again, Karen, for people to be able to, but I can't.
What about, or just my Facebook page, Kerry?
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Oh, I think I have it. See, I told you I'm not fantastic with technology.
I don't know how
you. Than me, Kerry. I couldn't do that.
There we are. Yay! Excellent, super. There you go. So that's Karen's page on there as well. Karen does a lot of different teachings and things like this, and yeah, so, you know, again, it's all about, again, sort of supporting each other.
Absolutely.
It's really important. Oh, and I've managed to find out to put my one on here now as well. Oh, how funny. There we go. So that's my group on there as well. Okay, which is a community support place as well. Oh, and Bill's just put my page up as well, my other page. Thank you, Bill.
Bill's quite techie.
He is, isn't he? Bill, you're going to have to give us some lessons, I think.
I'm hopeless at this sort of thing. I can't do it. I mean, I started to put a thing up the other day with a link to it, but I don't know. It took me ages to do it.
I know.
I'm not as fast as I used to be. I get there eventually, but it just takes me a little while.
Yeah, I'm not that. I must admit, I'm not. I've just sort of really sort of been winging myself around on here, to be fair. So with the internet aspect, you know, Claire's put up.
We all need Bill.
Excellent, lovely to see you on here, Claire. I hope you're keeping well, my lovely. Well, it is 9 o'clock, guys. Wow, we've been on for about the hype.
Well, that quick already.
It's gone really quick.
I need a coffee now.
I need something to eat.
I must admit, I did do dinner earlier, but I didn't have time to have mine, so I've just got mine out on the sides, you know. But I actually want to say what a wonderful evening it's been to share this platform with both of you tonight, and
it's been a pleasure that you've come in and you've sorted it out and you've organised it. So thank you too.
Yeah, thank you, Kerry. It's been
thank you.
wonderful. I've really enjoyed it, and
let's
do it again.
Love it. Let's do it again. And guys, thank you all so much for coming on this evening and being part of this. It's about being a part of a collective, okay, and about supporting each other, and you know, all coming together, especially during this time, okay. And you know, thank you for just coming on and listening to us, and we're going to definitely do this again, guys. Yeah, and
definitely.
you know,
and just to remind everyone that Kerry's with us on Saturday night with the lovely Selena that's in the room. So I'm looking forward to that, chairing them. Okay, and she's also working with my Charlotte and my Shalane, so that'd be lovely. And also, just to remind everyone, Kerry will also be doing a fundraising day with us in February the 6th, and she's going to be doing a workshop and the demonstration, and the workshop's entitled Interviewing the Spirit.
Yay, excellent. So guys, it's all for an amazing cause, okay. So many people have come together for this day, and it's a day of pure indulgence in spirituality, if you like. Absolutely. Okay. And to enjoy ourselves, and it's all raising funds for a real good cause. So please come along and join us if you can. There's lots of things throughout the day, isn't there, Neil, on that particular day?
Yeah, there is. There's workshops, demonstrations, lectures and talks with some of the amazing speakers and demonstrators that we've planned and organised to work with us. We did ask Bill, but unfortunately Bill couldn't do it. But anyway, so we got this amazing day. It's going to be holding soon for the whole day, guys. And it's a GoFundMe page that Charlotte's been sharing. She's put it up a couple of times. And it's for mental health. And so far, we have 25 people that have booked on it so far, which is amazing. But we want the numbers to go up. And we've raised, and I think we've raised just over £400 so far.
We have about 425, I think, when I looked earlier
Fantastic.
today.
Yeah.
So lots of fantastic, lovely mediums working. We've got Kerry, Dawn. There's Anne-Marie Bond, Caroline Jones, Martin Colclough, Wendy Lyons, Mark Stone, Lindsay Percival, Val Hood is going to do a demonstration all the way from Australia, Nigel Gaff. It's going to be a really lovely day. There's lots of other mediums that I haven't got, I haven't named, but come and join us and raise some money for a good cause and enjoy yourself at the same time.
Okay, so it's on the GoFundMe page, guys. So if you do come, it's £12 for the day. That's for the whole day from 10:30 to 7:30. You can choose what you want to come to, because the programme will be done by the end of the week, and it will be going on Facebook. And also there are readings at £10, half an hour readings, and that's quite a good price because you wouldn't get a £10 reading really. But if you do sign up for it, you must put your name and your surname on the GoFundMe page so we know who you are, okay? Because obviously our room is actually being manned by somebody else, Monica Jenkins, so she needs to know the list of people that are coming for the day.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Fantastic. Wow, fantastic. And Neil, thank you for organising that, and Karen as well. So it's going to be a marvellous day. So we will do this again, guys, so please keep an eye out, okay, for this. And you know what, it's lovely to have everyone come in and just join in and be part of all of us. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe and look after yourselves.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, I believe we are not live streaming now. Hold on one second. Has it gone off now?
Not on my phone, but it